In 1789, when James Madison introduced his proposal for a Bill of Rights, 7 states had Bills of Rights. What were those 7 states? Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, North Carolina, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Vermont, later to be admitted as the 14th state, had a Bill of Rights in its 1777 Constitution. As well, 4 additional states, New Jersey and Georgia and New York, South Carolina. They included rights provisions, religious liberty, press freedom, jury trial. What? Right to religion, the freedom of the press, the right to a jury trial. This jury trial, it's in the English Bill of Rights, it's in the damn Henry VIII common law. Jury trial, it's in the American Bill of Rights, it's in the North Carolina. It just keeps coming back over and over again. Within the body of their constitutions, Connecticut and Rhode Island continue to operate under their pre-independence charters, though Connecticut added a preamble as a sort of Declaration of Rights. Natural rights were explicitly recognized in the declarations of the 7 states. So, who recognizes the natural rights? Where do natural rights come from? That's the U.S. Constitution, Colorado's Constitution, and it was New Hampshire, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Virginia. Here's Virginia's Declaration of Rights. All men are by nature equally free and independent, have certain inherent rights of which when they enter into a state of society they cannot by any compact deprive or divest their posterity. Namely, the enjoyment of life and liberty with the means of acquiring and possessing property and pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. Fucking A. So we have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and property, to acquire and possess property, and to pursue and obtain happiness and safety. All men are by nature equally free and independent. So, yeah, there's differences amongst men, but politically, we all have the right to speak, we all have the right to petition, we all have a right to peaceably assemble. And they're inherent. These are inherent rights. And then when we enter into a state of society, you can't take them away from the future. What the fuck? Just get rid of the right to freedom of speech. No, we got to get rid of that freedom. Well, you never know what posterity might do. They might abuse that freedom. We don't want them to. So Hobbes, he went ahead and defined what natural law is. Chapter 15, justice is not contrary to reason. Nothing done to man by his own consent can be injury. Page 100, you had justice, gratitude, modesty, equity, and mercy are the virtues that are listed as the ways and means of peace. So Hobbes says, the laws of nature are eternal. Why? Because man will always want peace. They want to get away from war. Man wants all good things. Man wants not just peace, but mercy, equity, modesty, gratitude, justice. So here's 19 laws of nature by Hobbes, which he says are eternal. The first law of nature, self-defense and revolution. We have a right to defend ourselves, and as a nation, we also have a right to defend ourselves. We have to be peaceful for as long as we can, then war. Violence is the last option. You must exhaust all other options before violence is even on the table, but you do have a right to defend yourself. The second law of nature is you have a right to enter into a social contract with a Leviathan / Commonwealth / nation state. The third law of nation is you have a right to justice. Men perform covenants made. Well, how are you going to make sure that people abide by their contracts? You saw what It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. A dumb motherfucker would just eat the contract and think that you have to have a civil power that's got a strong enough constitution to compel those rat bastards to pay me my money or to perform the covenants made. Yeah, made an agreement, now perform the covenant made. That's contracts. That's an American Constitution too. The right to contracts. Gratitude. The fourth law of nature is gratitude. Accept good that comes from others. Yep, could be a Trojan horse. It could be a Trojan horse, but the rule is it's probably not a Trojan horse. What somebody wanted to give you a home welcoming gift. Yeah, maybe they want to get to know you. Maybe they want to see that you're not, But ultimately, they're good neighbors. Fifth law of nature, complacence. Complacence. Sociable, good, commodity versus stubborn, insociable, froward, intractable. That's to say that every man strive to accommodate himself to the rest, mutual accommodation, for the understanding whereof we may consider that there is in men's aptness to society a diversity of nature arising from their diversity of affections, not unlike to that we see in stones brought together for building of an edifice. So, okay, all the rocks are different, but they all come together to build the... So I'm not even sure what the law of nature is, but that you're sociable, that you are being good for the community. Sixth law of nature, felicity, to pardon, that upon caution of the future time a man ought to pardon the offenses past of them that repenting desire it. Someone bumped into you and they said sorry, and you was like, sorry's not good enough, and you've held on to that for 17 years. It's probably time to let it go. Did they accidentally run into you? Sorry, it wasn't good enough, though. I was concentrating on an idea. They bumped into me, and that idea is lost. That was $1 million idea that they took away from me. For pardon is nothing but granting a peace, which, though granted to them that persevere in their hostility, be not peace, but fear, yet not granted to them that give caution of the future time as sign of an aversion to peace, and therefore contrary to the law of nature. The seventh law of nature, that in revenges men respect only the future good. Hurting others just to hurt them is cruelty, sadism. It's a long paragraph, but it says, don't hurt just to hurt for the greatness of the evil past, but think of the greatness of the future to come. When it comes to, they say, revenges. I would say there's no such thing. Fuck revenge. It's justice. Revenge is too much. You never go too far with revenges. Or all revenges are too much. But justice is just right. Justice is perfect. Justice is coming correct. Don't hurt just to hurt for the greatness of the evil past. So the person hurt you and you're like so mad about it and you're like, how dare they hurt me? But you're thinking of the greatness of the future to come. So yeah, hurting them forever and ever and ever. I mean, it would suck to have to take care of a prisoner forever and ever. To feed them and whatever, So eighth law of nature, against contumely, and because all signs of hatred or contempt provoke to fight, insomuch as most men choose rather to hard their life than to not be revenged. Choose to rather hard their life. Can that be right? Then not to be revenged, we may in the eighth place for a law of nature set down this precept, that no man by deed, word, countenance, or gesture declare hatred or contempt of another. Contempt of another, the breach of which law is commonly called contumely. You contumely son of a bitch. Look, I see you're a proper rude boy and all that. So you have, let's review. First law of nature, the right to defense, right to revolution. Second law of nature, the right to a social contract with the Commonwealth. Third law of nature, the right to justice, to have men perform the contracts that they agree to, and to have a civil power that's strong enough to compel them to perform the agreement made. Gratitude, accept good that comes from others. Accept good that comes from others. Fifth law of nature, complacence, to be sociable. Sixth law of nature, the felicity to pardon. Seventh law of nature, so to pardon that which should be pardoned. Seventh law of nature is respect the future good in revenges. So really it's kind of saying do justice, don't do a revenge. When you're doing revenge, don't do a revenge, do a justice. Don't go past justice. Stop at justice. Justice can, maybe it could be elastic, maybe it could be expanded. Or eighth law against contumely, the ninth law against pride. Oh shit. It's one of the deadly sins, is it not? All men agree to be equals in nature, political equality. No, I am better than you. I deserve the right to speak, but you do not. No, I am better than you. I deserve a right to petition the king, but you do not. I deserve a right to peaceably assemble, but you do not. Look, we all got political equality, you know. I do have a right to speak, but so do you. I mean, I have something to say. It's logical, coherent, and rooted in love. But you could, fucking, you can fart up a storm. You can, diarrhea out the mouth, whatever you want to. At the entrance to the conditions of peace, no man required to reserve to himself any right which he is not content should not be reserved to every one of the rest. Right. So don't be, you can be proud of your accomplishments, but you can't be arrogant. So the 10th law is against arrogance. And I think you can be proud of your accomplishments, but arrogance, these both are arrogance. At the conditions, so at the entrance to the conditions of peace, no man required to reserve to himself any right which he is not content should be reserved to every one of the rest. The first, freedom for you is a freedom for everybody. You think it's a freedom for you, then it's a freedom for everybody. And if it's just a freedom for you, but not a freedom for everybody, then it's a privilege. That's not a fucking freedom. Due process, we have a right to due process in a uniform criminal procedure and the rules of evidence. That's what this makes me think of in the entrance to the conditions of peace. So that's between nations, between conflicting parties. They get together. You have a right to speak. You have a right to ask questions. You don't have a right to speak. You don't have a right to ask questions. Pleonexia is what the Greeks called this violation. Civil society isn't just mere survival. According to Hobbes, the 10th law of nature, civil society, it says that the point of civil society is to live well. And so therefore we have a right to, sustenance and motion and transportation. We have a right to housing, water, food. We have a right to all the things to survive and to survive well. So the point of civil society isn't just bare sustenance, subsistence, but it's to thrive. It's more than to survive, it's to thrive. The 11th law of nature, according to Hobbes, is equity. And we'll take a break right here.